Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is MMAOddsbreaker. I am Frank Trigg in Las Vegas, Nevada, and that is Martin Kampmann, also in Las Vegas at his house. Martin just got done training and took a quick minute to come on here with us. I appreciate it.
For sure.
Martin, you are a co-main event at UFC 154. They're touting this as the #1 contendership fight for GSP or Kampmann, depending on who wins. First of all, who do you think will win the GSP Kampmann fight, knowing that GSP's been out for 18 months, he's coming off a bad knee, but he is GSP, and Kampmann has been so active as of late and looks so good. Like, do you think that Kampmann can get the upset, or do you think the GSP is going to come through and steamroll him?
I don't think GSP is going to steamroll him. I think if GSP pulls off the victory, it's going to be a decision win, because Kamann's hard to finish. I don't see GSP knocking him out, and I can't see him submitting him either. But I can see him beating him with the wrestling, taking him down for 5 rounds and staying on top and beating him that way. But the closer we're getting to the fight, I'm starting to lean more and more towards Kampmann for pulling off the upset. I could see Kampmann catching him. I could see Kampmann losing the first 3 rounds and then catching GSP with a jumping knee or spinning elbow or something crazy when he's coming in, because Kamann's going to keep going. He's not gonna quit. He's going to keep fighting even though he's behind. And I could definitely see him pulling off the upset.
No, I agree with you for Kampmann, because someone coming back off an ACL injury, and we both have had knee injuries. 18 months off, ring rust. I mean, it's difficult to come back, and your first fighting a guy like Carlos Kampmann, it's very, very difficult. But then the rumors are coming out that if GSP steamrolls him and finishes him, then they're going to bring Anderson Silva and have an Anderson Silva GSP fight at whatever stadium. But then you're fighting just before that for the #1 contendership. That's going to kind of push you guys back if that happens. If they all of a sudden have this GSP Anderson Silva fight and you win your fight, then all of a sudden you're sitting around waiting for another title shot. Does that sometimes make you a little bit frustrated with how things work over at the UFC, because they do sometimes have to put these big fights on that the fans want to see, like a Chael Sonnen versus John Jones kind of thing, just because the fans, it's what drives the sport?
Well, there's a lot of buts and ifs in that whole situation. First, GSP's got to beat Kampmann, and I got to beat Johny Hendricks. But of course, that's the plan. That's what I've been working my ass off to do, and I feel confident I'm going to beat him. But then we'll deal with the problems afterwards. But regards to Anderson Silva, I'm much more intrigued by watching Anderson Silva fight John Jones. I think that'd be a matchup that actually a lot of the fans want to see as well. From a fan perspective, that's the fight I want to see. And of course, from a personal perspective, I don't want to see GSP Anderson, because that could put me on hold. But I'd much rather watch him fight John Jones. I think that could be much more fun to watch. And I think if he fights Anderson, I think GSP is going to get knocked out.
Now let's move on and talk about your fight with Johny Hendricks. It's the co-main event for UFC 154. It's big stage, which you always flourish on. It's big arena, up there in Montreal, which you always flourish on. You never seem really to get rattled. I've trained with you for a long time. Even when I catch you with something in practice, you're kind of like, okay, I don't really catch you. It's kind of like I hit you one time, and then I never catch you with that thing again. You're very smart when you fight. You're very smart when you train. What's it going to be like knowing that this is this is like the #1 contendership fight? You win this fight, you're next in line. You've got the co-main event status. Like, what's that kind of? Is there any added pressure? Do you feel it at all, or is it kind of another day for Martin Kampmann?
I mean, any fight, there's always pressure. But of course, when you get the co-main event status and you get, and it's high on the card and people are talking about #1 contendership fight, there's more people that want to talk with you. There's more people that want to, line you up for interviews and that stuff. And so there's more pressure in that sense. But I feel confident in my skills, and I've been training hard. So what I focus on is just going in there and fight and compete at my best.
Now on paper, it looks like the classic striker, the classic Danish striker with you, versus the classic American wrestler of Johny. But both you guys have developed into some pretty good all-around, MMA fighters. Johnny's got knockouts. You've got submission wins. You've been taking guys down. Johnny's been fighting from the bottom. He's been getting taken down sometimes. So it's a good mix. This fight's a really, really good matchup. Other than his wrestling, which we all know is the one thing you kind of got to watch out for with Johny Hendricks, what's the other thing you're kind of looking at that you're going, okay, this is the one thing I have to kind of look at? Not super focus on, but I know this could be coming at any time.
I think, of course, like you said, his biggest asset is his wrestling. He's coming off a strong wrestling background, some of the best wrestling credentials in the UFC, and that's something you can't take away. That's something he's always going to have in his on his, his backpack, whatever you want to call it. But I think also he's a very strong guy. He's got really heavy hands. I think that's something to watch out for. He's been hurting a lot of guys. He's been knocking some guys out, and he might not be the most technical boxer, but he throws hard. And if you get hit, it's going to hurt, But I've been hit by some strong dudes before, and I don't want to eat too many punches, but I feel confident I can eat a good shot. And I've eaten plenty of good shots before in my career, and sometimes too many. But of course, I want to stay away from the punches and hit him as much as possible.
With the Jake Ellenberger fight, you kind of took a lot of punches and came back and survived. You kind of got knocked down and figured out how to survive. Like your innate ability to survive after that heavy hit, you still learn how to come back up and still get the victory. Is that something that you started training when you started with your Muay Thai? That they said, look, when you get hit, this is kind of what you have to do to kind of survive, and you just move into MMA? Or is it something that you just kind of adapted and have naturally?
It's not something that I specifically train for. I just fight. As long as I'm conscious and I'm in there, I'm going to keep fighting. And that's the attitude I come in with, and I think that makes good fights.
You train Extreme Couture here in Las Vegas. Who's going to corner you for this fight?
I'm going to have Ray Sefo and Kyle Griffin out there, and possibly you.
We hope. If I can get Roger Sportnet to give me a couple minutes off. Hopefully it comes together, because I really want to be in your corner, because I think Ray, Kyle, and I all bring different things to the table. So I think it's going to be a little bit different atmosphere. But with Ray, he's got the World Series of Fighting. There's a rumor out that he might fight for the World Series of Fighting. Plus, he's still training all the guys. Has it been a problem trying to get time with him when the fight was coming up for the World Series of Fighting a couple weeks ago, or was he always? Is he very time oriented as a trainer, that he's like, no, I got Martin at 9 o'clock. I got to be here at 9 o'clock. He's
got a crazy schedule. He's a busy guy, but he's been really good at coming in every morning and getting the workouts in. Well, he's got other fighters. So he was gone for Evan's fight. He was gone for Brad's fight. So there was a couple of weeks there where I didn't have him to work with, but I made up for it working with other guys, and I made up for it for lost time when Ray got back. But even though he's been really busy with the World Series fighting, he's been really good at still getting in 3 times a week every morning and getting mitts in with me. So I'm very happy that he puts time aside for me.
Well, Martin, we really appreciate coming on here. I know it's you just got done training, and I know you want to get back to your wife and kids. Well, kid and one on the way. So I appreciate coming on MMA Oddsbreaker. We'll talk to you again soon.
For sure. Thank you.